started with laughter. Not the warm, belly-deep kind that reminds you why you fell in love with someone. No, this was sharp, like glass breaking, hollow and mean. That laugh cut through the air like a scalpel, and it came from the woman I used to think I'd grow old with. Her name's Jessica. Blonde, beautiful, with a smile that could melt ice and a tongue that could freeze fire. She was sitting in our living room surrounded by her 3 best friends, Brittany, Lindsay, and Maddie, all dressed like they were headed to some overpriced wine tasting, sipping rose and looking like they were waiting for someone to take their picture. I was in the hallway just outside their view. I hadn't meant to eavesdrop. I came down for a bottle of water. But then I heard Jessica say something that froze me in my tracks. Honestly, girls, he's still unemployed. I don't know why I bother. It's like I married a golden retriever. Just sits there and waits for me to feed him. They burst out laughing. I felt the glass bottle slide from my fingers. It hit the hardwood and rolled under the hallway table. None of them noticed. Jessica wasn't done. Of course not. I mean, it's been almost a year. How long does it take to get a grip on your life? And don't get me started on how boring things have gotten. If I wanted to cuddle and cry, I'd buy a puppy. I could feel my blood turning to steam. Unemployed? That was a goddamn joke. She knew that I stepped away from the day-to-day grind to focus on restructuring the company. My company, the one I built from scratch. The one she and her gaggle of plastic friends all worked at. That's right. They didn't know. None of them knew I was the silent owner behind Anderson Tech Group, the HR firm that hired them, promoted them, and would very shortly fire them. The room filled with clinks of wine glasses and high-pitched giggles. I stood in that hallway, silent, fists clenched at my sides, wondering when my life became a damn soap opera. Was it when I let her start living like an influencer instead of a partner? When I stopped asking questions? Or maybe it was when I started ignoring the signs. Late nights at girls' dinners, sudden gym memberships, the new lingerie that never made it into our bedroom. You ignore a lot when you're tired, when you trust someone. But trust is stupid when it's blind. Does he even try anymore? Maddie asked. Jessica rolled her eyes. Please, I fake everything now. I could be dead and he wouldn't notice. The girls erupted again. I took a step back into the shadows. If I walked in right then, they'd just play dumb, pretend it was a joke. Jessica would kiss my cheek with that fake sugar-lace smile and pour me a glass of that overpriced rose like I was some decorative husband figure. No, I wanted to hit harder than that. I wanted the truth to land like a gut punch. I waited until the next morning. The company-wide termination emails went out at 8 a.m. sharp. Brittany, Lindsay, Maddie, all let go due to departmental restructuring. I made sure they received the notices while they were still at Jessica's brunch that day, one of those stupid girl support girls events she organized at our house. You should have seen her face when her phone pinged. Ping, ping, ping. One by one, her friends went pale, then red, then furious. Brittany dropped her mimosa glass. Maddie stood up like someone had lit a fire under her. Lindsay looked like she wanted to throw hands. Jessica blinked like she was in a dream. She turned to me, finally aware I was watching from across the kitchen. What the hell did you do? She hissed, dragging me into the hallway. I smiled, calm as a winter lake. You wanted me to do something, right? I said. So I did. You just ruined my friends' careers. No, I said. I just reminded them who pays for them. She went silent. Then she laughed again. Not nervous, not surprised, but bitter, like she liked it. You're such a spiteful little man, she said, voice low and venomous. You think you're in control, but you're not. You're still the pathetic loser who sleeps alone. I stared at her. She stared back. And right then, I knew this wasn't about a job. This wasn't about her friends. This was about something darker, something more intimate. And I was going to find it. Fast point 2 days after I fired her friends, Jessica started acting like nothing happened. That alone told me everything. She didn't cry, didn't beg, didn't even scream at me. She just shifted gears like a snake shedding its skin. I watched her float around the house, humming while she made avocado toast, lounging by the pool in a new bikini that definitely wasn't for my eyes. You don't act that calm unless you've got a backup plan. That night, she said she was going to a yoga retreat. Right? A 2-night wellness escape at a hotel spa 2 hours away. I nodded, playing dumb. I even helped her pack, slipped a bottle of her favorite perfume into her bag, kissed her cheek like a good husband. Then I waited. At 1:30 a.m., I got in the car and drove. I had a gut feeling she wasn't anywhere near that spa. Something about the way she held her phone all day, checking it like it owed her money. Something about how she smiled before she left. Not guilty, not sad, but smug. So I did something I hadn't done before. I logged into our shared phone account and pulled up her location history. She didn't know I had access. She thought I was still the nice guy who didn't check. Turns out, Jessica wasn't headed to the mountains. She was in a condo downtown, the same high-rise where my ex-business partner, Caleb Moore, lived. Tall, rich, gym-obsessed, and dumb as a brick. But women like Jessica don't mind bricks when they're stacked and tan. I parked 2 blocks away and walked the rest. The night was warm, too quiet. My heart was pounding, my brain screaming at me to turn around. But I needed to see it. I needed the truth to hit me in the face. I got into the building easily. Caleb always used the same damn code for his guests. 1234. No imagination, just arrogance. Rode the elevator to the 18th floor, and the moment the doors opened, I heard them. Laughing. Music. Footsteps. And then a sound I'll never forget. A low, breathy moan from her. Jessica. The same sound she used to make when she actually wanted me. Except this time it was real. Not faked. Not forced. I stood outside the door, teeth clenched so tight my jaw hurt. I wanted to kick it in, wanted to rip Caleb in half. But instead, I pulled out my phone and recorded the sounds. Just 30 seconds. Just enough. I walked back to the car numb, hollow. The kind of cold that starts in your bones. I didn't sleep that night. Just sat in the dark, listening to the audio over and over. Every breath from her mouth, another nail in the coffin. She came back the next afternoon, all sunshine and fake peace. Kissed my cheek. Told me how transformative her retreat was. I didn't say a word. Just smiled. Glad you had a good time, Jess, I said. I stayed in. Thought a lot. Made some discoveries of my own. Her eyes flickered. A pause. But only for a second. You should try a retreat sometime, she said, walking past me. Might help with your confidence. She never broke stride. That was when I knew something even worse. She didn't care that I might know. She'd crossed a line so far back, she couldn't even see it anymore. Jessica had cheated on me. Emotionally. Physically. But the worst betrayal? She thought I was too weak to do anything about it. And that made everything personal. This wasn't about heartbreak anymore. This was war. She was in the bathroom, brushing her hair like we still lived in a sitcom. Her robe hung open just enough to remind me of what used to be mine. Back when it meant something. I leaned on the doorway, arms crossed, phone in hand. You saw Caleb, didn't you? She paused, then smiled in the mirror. A small, amused, snake-like smile. That's funny, she said, twirling the brush in her fingers. You stalking me now? No, just checking in. You know, as a caring husband does when his wife lies about going to a wellness retreat and ends up moaning in a condo downtown. She stopped brushing, turned around. The air in the bathroom turned sharp. You've been spying on me? No, Jess. I tracked your phone. You left it wide open, like your legs. She flinched. Good. For a second, I thought she'd break. Cry. Apologize. Do something human. But no. Jessica doubled down. She rolled her eyes, tossed the brush onto the counter. Oh, get over yourself, Luke. We haven't been happy in months. You're a ghost. You walk around this house like a zombie with a bank account. So that's your excuse? You didn't feel loved enough, so you spread your legs for the first-hand idiot with protein shakes. Don't act shocked. You were married to the fantasy of me, not the real me. You just wanted the trophy. Now you're mad someone else took it off the shelf. That stung. But I didn't flinch. I gave you everything, Jessica. The house, the trips, the security. You wanted to work? I got you and your friends jobs. You wanted to feel free? I let you have space. You wanted to feel wanted? I gave you all of me. And you gave me what? Laughter behind my back and a used version of yourself in someone else's bed. She crossed her arms. Eyes narrowed, like she was waiting for a slap that never came. But I wasn't going to touch her. I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of tears or fury. I reached into my pocket and played the audio. Just 30 seconds. Her voice. His voice. The unmistakable rhythm of two people doing something married couples are supposed to do, except they weren't married to each other. Jessica went pale, then red, then smirk. She smirked. That's what you've got? Some sounds in the dark? Please, that could be anyone. It's you. I'd recognize your fake moans anywhere. She grabbed the phone from my hand, tried to delete the file. Too late. I had backups. Cloud. Email. USB. One in the safe. She threw the phone at the wall. Cracked. So what now, Luke? You going to cry? Tell your mommy? Ruin my life. I took a deep breath. This was it. This was the real her. Not the wedding dress. Not the flirty girl I met in college. This was the version she kept hidden until she thought I was weak enough to tolerate her poison. No, Jess, I said calmly. I'm going to set myself free. You see, I already fired your friends. I've got evidence of your affair. And I've called a lawyer. She went stiff. You're bluffing. You'll find out tomorrow when the papers arrive. But just so you know, Caleb's company is under my umbrella now. Bought it last month. Merged it quietly. Now it was her turn to blink. You what? Yeah, Caleb's not just your fling. He's your future employer. Assuming he's still employed after I clean house. Jessica stared at me, mouth open, rage mixing with panic. You're evil, she spat. No, I said. I'm done being a doormat. And you're done pretending you're a queen when you're just a back alley performer with better lighting. Silence. She left the room, slammed the door, and for the first time in a long time, I smiled. The house was quiet after she slammed the door. It wasn't the peaceful kind of quiet, either. It was that eerie silence after a building collapses, when the dust still hangs in the air and you're not sure what's alive under the rubble. I stood in the bathroom, staring at the cracked phone on the tile. Half of me expected to wake up. The other half wanted to smash the mirror and see if I still bled. Jessica had packed a bag and left within the hour. No tears, no goodbyes, just an expensive leather suitcase rolling down the hallway like it belonged to a stranger. I didn't stop her. I didn't say a word. I just sat on the edge of the bed where we used to sleep, me and a ghost who once promised forever, and let everything hit me at once. The shame came first. That deep, rotting feeling in your chest that says, how could you not see it? How did I miss the signs? How did I let her crawl into someone else's arms while I made sure she had a roof, comfort, a future? I spent years building a life I thought we both wanted. Turns out I was laying bricks for a woman who was already planning her escape. Next came the anger. Hot, wild, burning through my gut like acid. I thought about Caleb's smug face, about Jessica's fake smile, about every time she said, I'm just tired. When I reached for her in bed, I wanted to break something. Hell, I wanted to scream until the walls cracked. But I didn't. I stayed still, because somewhere under that rage, there was something worse. Emptiness. I'd built my world around someone who never really existed. Jessica was an image, projection, a Barbie with ambition, charm, and a cruelty so well hidden it felt like silk. And I was just the background, the support, the financial safety net dressed up as a husband. The memories kept flooding in. Laughing with her on the balcony during a rainstorm, watching old movies with her feet in my lap, the way she used to run her fingers through my hair when she thought I was asleep. Were those real? Or just rehearsed? That's the real heartbreak. Realizing that the moments you cherished were probably performances. And then, just when I was starting to settle into that hollow, defeated place, I got a call. It was Ben, my oldest friend. He rarely called, texted mostly. But this time it was his voice. Hey man, I heard. Listen, you need to check something. What? My sister was at a hotel bar last night. Saw Jessica there. Not alone. I know. She was with Caleb. No, bro. That's the thing. It wasn't Caleb. My stomach turned. Are you sure? Positive. Tall guy, tattoos, beard. Some trainer-type dude. They were all over each other. Like teenagers. I didn't even answer. Just hung up. So it wasn't just Caleb. There was another. Maybe more. Jessica wasn't cheating on me with one man. She was cheating on me with the idea of commitment. With anything that felt reckless and alive. She had made me her safe zone, then used that safety as a springboard for her little adventures. I wasn't a husband to her. I was a goddamn holding pattern. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something sharper than pain. Clarity. I poured myself a glass of scotch. Sat by the window. The sunset looked different now, less romantic, more real. The colors didn't lie. The sky wasn't pretending. I made a promise to myself right then. I'd never let someone like Jessica into my life again. The next time I gave my heart, it would be to someone who could hold it without stabbing it. The lawyer's office smelled like leather, old paper, and cold logic. His name was Thomas Weller. Late 50s, thick glasses, sharper than a scalpel and twice as fast. No small talk, no fake sympathy, just folders, facts, and the faint hum of a ceiling fan. "You sure you want to do this, Luke?" he asked without looking up. "Divorce isn't cheap, even when you're right." "I'm sure." "Good." He finally looked at me, eyes hard. "Then we go to war." And that's what it was now, a war. Not just over property or money, but over truth, over dignity, over the years I couldn't get back. I slid a USB drive across the desk. Everything's on there. Audio, location history, screenshots. She cheated. Repeatedly. And she mocked me publicly. Got witnesses for that too. He nodded. Took it like it was a loaded gun. "Then we build your case. She walks away with nothing but what you let her keep." I liked the sound of that. For a second. Then I didn't. Because part of me still remembered the girl I married. The one who used to wait at the door just to kiss me when I got home. The one who cried when we bought our first house. Who clutched my hand during thunderstorms and whispered, "Don't ever leave me." It was hard to accept that version of her was dead, or worse, never existed. I left Thomas's office with the documents already in motion. 3 days later, Jessica was served. She didn't call. She didn't cry. She sent me a voice note. 35 seconds of pure venom. "Wow, Luke. Classy. You really think this makes you the victim? You neglected me. You stopped trying. You're not a man, you're a spreadsheet with a heartbeat. I hope you enjoy your money. Because that's all you'll ever have." Delete. I didn't need her poison playing on repeat in my ears. But still, it hit. I'd spent the last decade thinking I was building something sacred. Turns out I was decorating a cage while she dug a tunnel out. Now I was faced with choices. Not just do I leave her, that part was decided. But who do I become now? Do I get bitter? Cold? Shut myself off? Or do I rebuild? I started with the house. Her makeup table? Gone. The dresses she used to flaunt on our date nights before she snuck off to someone else's bed? Donated. Every photo of her in a frame, replaced with landscapes, art, peace. But the biggest change wasn't external. It was me. I stopped pretending to be okay. I cried. Hard. Twice in the shower. Once in the car, parked outside our favorite sushi place where she used to flirt with the waiter. I let it out. All of it. The betrayal. The rage. The sadness. The disgust. Then I got up. I started going back to the office again. Not just as a shadowy owner, but as me. Face to face. Let people see that I wasn't some weak husband licking his wounds. I was a man who got burned and chose to walk through the fire anyway. My employees were surprised. So were my investors. But it felt right. I began training again too. Boxing. Something about punching a bag until your arms go numb helps more than therapy sometimes. Each hit was a memory. Her lies. Her smirks. Her betrayals. Hit, hit, hit. And slowly, piece by piece, I felt my identity return. Not as Jessica's husband, but as Luke. The man who built an empire. The man who survived her. I thought I'd seen it all with Jessica. The lies, the cheating, the insults disguised as jokes. But people like her, people who thrive on chaos, they always save one last card. One final grenade to throw over their shoulder while they walk away. Came in the form of a lawyer's letter. Not from Thomas, this was from hers. A sleek envelope, delivered to my office like a poisoned gift. My assistant brought it in with that careful, quiet look people get when they're afraid of bad news. Inside, demands. Jessica wanted alimony. Not just a little, a ridiculous amount. She claimed I had emotionally neglected her, that she had sacrificed career opportunities for the marriage, that I had controlled her finances and limited her independence. I laughed out loud, then almost punched the wall. She wanted me to pay her? The same woman who mocked me in front of her friends for not having a job, while they all unknowingly worked for me. The same woman who spread herself thinner than hotel sheets for every gym rat and protein shaker she could find? Now she wanted money? Nah, that wasn't happening. I called Thomas immediately. She's bluffing, he said. She has no case. The evidence we have makes her look like a predator, not a victim. Then why is she doing this? Because she knows she's losing. This isn't about money, it's about control. She's trying to rattle you. She wants one more emotional win before the bottom falls out. And you know what? It almost worked. For a full day, I couldn't focus. My hands were shaking. The thought that I'd have to pay her for cheating on me, it was maddening. Every email, every call, every stare from a coworker felt like it was laced with judgment. But then something unexpected happened. Her past started to unravel on its own. Ben, my friend who saw her with the tattoo trainer, sent me screenshots. Turns out the guy was married. His wife had found out. She posted everything on social media, tagging Jessica. Photos, messages, hotel bookings. Jessica's name started trending for the wrong reasons. People love a scandal, especially when the villain is a pretty face in a luxury car. And just like that, the narrative flipped. Her own lawyer dropped her 2 days later. Conflict of interest, the letter said. I bet it was more like, we don't want to represent a human dumpster fire. Jessica tried calling me after that. I didn't answer. She texted, we need to talk. You're ruining my life. No response. You think this makes you a man? You think humiliating me fixes what you broke? Still nothing. You'll regret this. I swear, Luke. That one made me laugh. Regret? I regretted not seeing through her sooner. Thomas called again a few days later. Her side's gone quiet. She's not showing up to mediation. Looks like she's spiraling. Good. Let her spiral. Let her feel the weight of everything she threw away. I didn't ruin her life. She did that all by herself. Me? I was just done playing the fool. I walked into that fire and came out the other side lighter. Burned, yeah, but stronger. Now, I was free. I didn't plan on seeing Jessica again. Honestly, I thought the last message she sent, "You'll regret this," was her final curtain call. But people like her never exit quietly. They don't disappear into the night. They linger, they haunt, and they always try to rewrite the story one last time. It was a Saturday, 3 months after the divorce was finalized. I was at a cafe near the office, grabbing coffee before heading to the gym. I looked different by then. Cleaner, leaner, sharper. Pain has a way of chiseling you down to who you really are. I was halfway through my espresso when I heard that voice. Luke. My stomach didn't twist. My heart didn't race. That was new. I turned slowly, and there she was, Jessica, dressed down in oversized sunglasses and an expensive coat that probably cost more than my car payment. She looked thinner, pale, like she hadn't slept right in weeks. That perfect mask she always wore, cracked around the edges. She sat down across from me without asking. Old habits. You look different, she said, her voice softer than I remembered, more serious. That's what happens when someone stabs you in the back while you're making breakfast for them. She winced, but only for a second. I didn't come here to fight. Then why are you here? She sighed, looked down at her hands. No ring now, just bare fingers and chipped nails. Because I wanted to say something, and maybe you won't believe me, but I need to say it anyway. I leaned back, arms crossed. Try me. She looked up, and for the first time in a long time she looked real. Not calculating, not smug, just hollow. I was wrong. I blinked. She continued. About you. About everything. I thought I wanted more, excitement, freedom, I don't know. I told myself you were holding me back. But the truth is, you were the only thing keeping me together. That almost got me. Almost. But I kept my expression blank. Why now, Jess? Because I see what I lost. Everyone turned their back on me. Caleb? Gone. That trainer? Married and vanished. My friends? They hate me for what I did. You were the only one who ever stayed. Until I pushed you away. I looked down at my coffee, then back at her. I didn't leave, Jessica. You did. Every lie, every night you came home late, every fake laugh. It was all you. I know. Her voice cracked. I hate who I became. No. You hate that I'm not broken anymore. That's what this is about. You don't miss me, Jess. You miss having control. She opened her mouth, closed it. I could see it in her eyes. She knew I was right. I hope you find peace, I said finally. I really do. But not with me. That door's closed. Locked. Burned. She nodded slowly. No more games. No more venom. Just silence. And then she stood up. Goodbye, Luke. Goodbye, Jess. She walked away without looking back. And just like that, the weight lifted. That was closure. Not fireworks. Not revenge. Just a final conversation that proved how far I'd come, and how far she'd fallen. As I sat there finishing my coffee, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Not anger, not sadness, but peace. For the first time in years, I was finally free. It's strange how pain ages you. Not the kind of pain you get from a broken arm or a pulled muscle. I'm talking about betrayal. The kind that creeps into your chest at 3 a.m., steals your sleep, rewrites your memories, and leaves you questioning every good thing you ever thought was real. But also, if you survive it, it shapes you into someone harder, smarter, clearer. It's been 6 months since Jessica walked out of that cafe. I haven't seen her since. Haven't heard a word. And I don't want to. She became the final chapter in a book I should have closed long before I did. A character I romanticized until she revealed herself to be nothing more than a beautifully wrapped warning sign. You want to know what I learned? Here it is. 1. Never confuse attention for affection. Jessica knew how to make me feel important. That was her gift. But attention isn't love. It's not loyalty. It's often just a transaction. She gave it to get something in return. And when she didn't get what she wanted anymore, she moved on like it was nothing. Real love doesn't have a scoreboard. It doesn't need a spotlight. It's quiet, but solid. Jessica never gave me love. She gave me theater. 2. Don't lower your standards out of loneliness. Looking back, I stayed long after I should have left. I ignored the signs because I didn't want to start over. I thought this is what marriage is, ups and downs. But there's a difference between compromise and self-abandonment. Between patience and denial. I wasn't being loyal. I was being afraid. 3. Protect your peace like it's sacred, because it is. I used to think being a man meant absorbing everything. Taking the hits and smiling through it. Being the rock. But you know what happens to rocks? They erode. Slowly. Quietly. Until there's nothing left but a smooth, lifeless surface. Now, I know that protecting your peace sometimes means walking away. Sometimes it means burning the bridge with someone who keeps pouring gasoline behind you. 4. Forgiveness isn't about them. It's about you. I forgave Jessica. Not because she asked for it, she never really did, but because I didn't want to carry her with me any longer. Forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation. I don't want her back. I don't even want her in my memories. But I forgave her because I wanted to heal. You can't move forward dragging a corpse. 5. Never forget who you are when someone tries to erase you. She tried to make me feel small. Useless. Like I was some washed-up man living off old victories. But I wasn't. I built my life. I earned every cent, every scar, every lesson. and no amount of her ridicule could change the truth. You don't need to prove your worth to people who are committed to misunderstanding it. These days, life feels lighter. I've moved out of the house we shared, bought a place near the edge of the city. Modern, clean, quiet. It smells like coffee and fresh pine every morning. There's no fake perfume in the air, no lies echoing through the walls. Just me. And that's enough. Sometimes people ask me if I'm bitter, if I've given up on love. The answer is no. I haven't given up. I've just learned what real love looks like, and what it doesn't. It doesn't mock you behind closed doors. It doesn't cheat while smiling in your face. It doesn't make you feel like a burden for breathing. And most importantly, it doesn't make you feel alone while you're lying right next to someone. So, if you're reading this and you've been lied to, betrayed, used, or broken, let me tell you something that took me too long to learn. You're not stupid for trusting. You're not weak for staying too long. And you're not unlovable because someone failed to love you right. You were just in the wrong story. But that story ends now. It's time to write a new one. This time, you're the hero.